I'm Marta Rodriguez, and of the 7 themes of Catholic social teaching, I chose the option for the poor and vulnerable because I think that there is much that can be done in this community to help the destitute. The poor at many times have to overcome economical or social limitations, and everyone can do something to help them overcome that. My project will focus mainly on growing crops to supply those who are homeless around the communities next to the Immaculate Conception, and it will consist of 2 parts. First, the short term, and then the second part, the long term. Before starting my short term plan, I decided to visit the communities next to the Immaculate Conception Church to get an idea of who I would be helping. I instantly saw people who lived under the shroud of poverty. I saw how they lived and how they spent their day, how they made a living, and where some lived. I became convinced that there were people who could benefit from my project. To begin my short-term plan, I first contacted my dad and asked him for permission to use his ranch near Alton Glor Boulevard to obtain a location to plant the crops. I then asked him to see whether the local business at which he works, which is Casa Rodriguez, would be interested in giving donations. These donations included the seeds, the farming tools, and the fertilizer to plant the crops. Both said yes. After that, I went on to get a small and close-knit group of volunteers for 2 reasons. 1, it would be more manageable, and 2, I wouldn't really need that many volunteers because this is not the part where the community benefits, it's just what leads up to it. And my long-term plan, which I will explain later, is really when I'll extend the invitation to more people. So to help me plant the crops, I got volunteers through 3 main sources. 1, myself, 2, my dad, and 3, through Miguel, the ranch's caretaker. I first asked a couple of St. Joe students by word of mouth, but then they canceled for certain reasons. That is why I later sent text messages to group chats and specific people. Even though most couldn't go, even my 2 brothers, I had my dad and Miguel as support.
¿Qué pasó, David? ¿Cómo estás?
For the main part of the short-term plan, I now had to plant the crops and wait for the volunteers. We used the greenhouse at the ranch to remove seasonal constraints and plant the 3 following crops: tomatoes, potatoes, and squash. Miguel brought his volunteers.
Ándale. Y después van a hacer las preguntas. ¿Para qué sembraron? ¿Qué producto van a regalar?
And my dad his.
Esa es la cadena de producción.
Esa cadena de producción.
¿Y habla?
Ya está.
I also worked and took the time to interview Miguel on his perspective on poverty. ¿Cuál cree que es el factor que contribuye más a la pobreza?
El factor, por ejemplo, en nosotros, en los pobres, y le llamamos casi una enfermedad a la pobreza por no tener un sustento, un trabajo, una fuente de trabajo. Para luchar, para tener, muchas veces nuestra familia necesita del apoyo de los papás. Cuando se es joven y somos descendientes de unos padres humildes, pues precisamente es ahí el punto de la pobreza.
My long-term plan will directly benefit the homeless. I first had to contact Father Michael at the Immaculate Conception Church. As he was very busy, I left him a message to see if he'd accept my crops as donations and allow me to help distribute them. For the next part, I'll promote my project using various means by asking people to help me distribute the crops. I'll ask them specifically by word of mouth and ask my dad and Miguel to spread the word. I will also send text messages to specific people and in group chats as I did before. I'll post any of these 2 flyers around the SJA campus for the students, and outside of schools such as in Sacred Heart, the public library, and in local businesses such as Casa Rodriguez, Oyster Bar, and Vermilion. The next part would be to cultivate the crops when they ripen and distribute them around the community. I enjoyed doing this project because it was an opportunity for me to do good things for others. I think that doing manual work helped me to be grateful for what I have and to figuratively put a part of my good intentions into the crops. As of now, my project has been successful, and what I'm doing, which is upholding the option for the poor and vulnerable, is only one of the many good things that can be done in this world to help people.